Broadcasting worldwide from beautiful Santa Monica, California. It's time to get real. What makes someone rich and successful while others stay stuck in the grind? How can you maximize your potential, live your dreams, and build your wealth? Taking an honest look at our world and the markets that move it. Let's talk to successful people and take a look inside their heads. Let's simplify success and spread the wealth. Let's prove the American dream is still alive. This is Real Business Talk with your host, Los Angeles expert realtor and entrepreneur, Robert Crawford. Call in now, 347-205-9356. That's 347-205-9356. Make sure you follow us at realbusinesstalk.com.
Hey, this is Real Business Talk. Real talk about real business. Thank you for joining us for this episode. I'm your host, Robert Crawford. Be sure to join the talk every week at realbusinesstalk.com and share your thoughts on our forum. Just start any topic. We have experts going through that all the time. So definitely check that out. We have a great show for you today. Lots of important news happening this week. But I really wanted to touch on one topic this week. And that's the topic of being remarkable. I really think being remarkable is really the only way to succeed big in this marketplace. There's a ton of competition. So much so that people like the so-called Illuminati or these Georgia Guidestones are claiming that there's too many people. So in a sea of too many people, you can either look at it and say, how the hell am I going to compete? Or you can flip that around and say, how will anyone else compete with me? There's a huge market to take over, but you have to dominate. You have to be first in this market. Because if you're not first, you're last. That's one of Grant Cardone's books, but couldn't be more true. So I wanted to dive into that topic today. To succeed in business, you have to be remarkable. There is a single key element to every successful business entrepreneur. You have to have customers. If you do not have customers, you do not have a business. At the end of the day, revenue is king. You have to be making money in order to worry about anything else going on. But this is a simple concept. Since we can't legally print money ourselves, we're not the Federal Reserve, we have to go out and get customers. But getting customers can be simple. It just takes attention. Think about it. Attention really is the indicator of success. Why do celebrities like Justin Bieber become so financially successful? Because people find him remarkable. Whether you love him or hate him, the media gives him attention, and that's what gets people talking about him. It is said that if you're able to get half the world to hate you, you might become president of the United States. Let that sink in for a second. Your income will directly correlate to the amount of attention your brand receives, whether it's your personal brand or your business. If no one hears about you, no one will think of you when they need your services or goods. The more people talk about you and respect your work, the more products they will buy. Getting attention is not about buying advertising. Using social media or trying to get that article in a national magazine. Yeah, those things can help, but they are time-consuming and costly. Besides, if you plan on spending money to promote your brand, make sure the message captures attention. The simplest way to get attention and success that you crave is to be remarkable. Here's a quote by Seth Godin, who's really the king of this term of be remarkable with his book, Purple Cow. Remarkable doesn't mean remarkable to you. It means remarkable to me. Am I going to make a remark about it? If not, then you're average. and average is for losers. That is directly quoted from Seth Godin. So what does he mean by that? He means that it doesn't matter how much you scream and shout. You can go to the top of the hill of Los Angeles and Hollywood Hills with a huge microphone and shout about your business, service, or product, and you're still going to get nothing. But if you get 300 people to do that because they are raving about your product, I guarantee people will be listening. So what is being remarkable? Being remarkable means that your product, service, or you personally is worth making a remark about. That's it. The more remarkable, the more attention you will receive. Celebrities have mastered this skill. They understand the PR game and create a personal brand that people are passionate about. Passion can go both ways. If you love a product, take your favorite song for example. It gets stuck in your thought process. It stays in the forefront of your brain. Maybe you sing the song in your head on your way to lunch or scream it in the shower. Once you are around a friend or meet an individual who reminds you of that song, you perk up and begin discussing it with passion. But being remarkable and passionate about a product, person, or service can also be with hatred. Of course, you don't want everyone to come in contact with, to hate you, your product, but a handful of passionate haters will watch your every move. A great example of the power of remarkability is Howard Stern in the late 1980s and his presence through today. Howard started as a boring radio personality until he began to do and say things no other radio jockey would dare consider. This eventually made him the king of radio and got him thousands of fans tuning in each day. The average fan of Howard Stern's in 1993 listened for about an hour. That's an hour a day. His hardcore fans that loved him were listening to him for an hour a day. They were intrigued by what Howard would do next. They would discuss his show with friends and listen in their offices. It was a part of their culture. An interesting fact began to emerge. After NBC did some rating testings on the program, although Howard had loyal fans that would tune in daily to hear his show, he also developed a number of haters, people that despised him, and the vulgar acts that he would broadcast through the airwaves. This hatred fueled an obsession. NBC realized that the average listening time for a listener who had a negative opinion of Howard was over 2 hours. That's almost twice as long as his raving fans were listening. How could this be? How could people that are hating him, people that are talking trash about him, listen for a longer period of time than the ones that love him? After all, if you hated something that much, why would you spend all your time around it? It turns out that people love to hate. It's a psychological obsession we have, and it's best seen in the divided lines of American politics. After all, if you have such a strong opinion you can't help but share that point of view with the people around you, that's remarkability. So to understand some aspects of being remarkable, the main key is you have to think outside the box. If you're like everyone else, you're average, and average is not remarkable. You have to be doing something different, something that's going to get people to talk. So we're going to go and dive a little deeper into why people share things in a second. But first, we're going to take a quick break. Join us at realbusinesstalk.com. Join the forum, join the discussion, or call in now. Friends, the current economic system is set up to reward the rich and leave you with nothing. Stagnating and declining wages makes it harder than ever to achieve your dreams. That is why we've developed a platform to allow you to raise the funds for the goals and the dreams you wish to achieve. Dream Bucket allows you to set up dream campaigns and have others give towards your dream. Whether that dream is education, travel, family, or material items, dreambucket.me gives you a tool to raise the amount you need from the people who care. Kickstart your dreams by creating a dream campaign or two now. Just go to dreambucket.me to get started. All right, we're back. I'm your host, Robert Crawford. This is Real Business Talk. Today we're talking about being remarkable. What does that mean to your brand? And why is it probably the most important thing to success? Let's understand why people share. There actually is a science to sharing content. It's called the Metcalfe's Law. And it's the way to calculate the value of a network. They say that an average network of human communication, human connections, friendships that a human can have, the maximum that a human can have is actually 150 relationships. Sure, everyone's met more than 150 people, but to still retain some sort of communication and friendship and rapport, they say that you can only do it for a maximum of 150 people. And really, you only get to build extremely good relationships with the closest 12 people to you. Take a second to think about that. Think about the 12 people closest to you. Then think about the 13th name that comes on that list. Is there any difference? Well, the network effect says that the value of each potential sharer is proportional to the number of individuals he or she connect to. The more interconnections, the more quickly and widely the information can be shared. So why would someone share information? The key with social media is to go viral, to get something to have viral content. Well, viral is Metcalfe's Law. Metcalfe is saying how many people are going to share your content. If it's 0, if I see, read, consume, use, eat, whatever you're selling, whatever your brand is, and I don't tell anyone about it, that's 0. You're 0 on the virality scale. They say that when Facebook was growing, when it first began, they had a virality score of 3. That means for every person that used Facebook, they passionately discussed it with 3 other people. For our business Clink, when we were taking off, our virality rate that we calculated was 7. But we were giving everyone dollar drinks through the app, so that would kind of explain it. So why would you share, right? There's got to be a science to why people are sharing. There is. There's really 10 keys that are going to make someone share. You don't have to have all these keys, but if you have at least one, you're going to increase your chance of getting a share. The first is it being absolutely hilarious. Whatever you're doing, your advertising, your marketing, your message, your brand is hilarious. It makes me laugh out loud, right? Everyone wants to use that term because that's it. Why is laughing so good? It feels good. Laughing is emotional. It's the highest vibration form we as human beings can achieve. Joy and laughter is what we're here to do. We all need breaks from the seriousness of the daily grind. And something that makes us and others laugh is a natural mood elevator. So you're going to share that. The second thing is that your content brand, whatever it is incredible or unbelievable. When something just makes your jaw drop. You can't resist sharing it with friends and family to get a similar reaction. Something you've never seen before. Great example of this is the Red Bull Baumgartner jump from the stratosphere. A guy taking basically a hot air balloon all the way up to the edge of the planet, the edge of space, putting on a spacesuit, slapping Red Bull on it, and then just jumping and tumbling down. All you needed was a GoPro, I guess a few fancy equipment to survive, but it definitely went viral. So what's the third thing? It's deeply emotional. We are emotional beings. Women definitely get this. Men, I have a hard time. I still have this logical brain going through running science or whatever. But if something catches you emotionally, content that touches us emotionally, either negative or positive, is a natural thing to share because we want to connect with others over that experience. Even if it's just over the internet, you can actually connect. I've used some mediums before, and they have this way of connecting actually through Skype or just through the telephone. There is a connection there. When you're calling someone, you can tell whether they're smiling on the other end of the phone. There's something going on with the ether, something that is raising those vibrations. And if you can tap into that, people are going to share that content. They're going to want to share that feeling. There's been a lot of good websites that have taken advantage of this. Anytime you go on Facebook, a lot of those shares are because they're emotional. They're emotional. They're getting likes because it has something to do with an accomplishment or a huge success or a new family member. So what else can be shareable? The fourth thing would be it agrees with our worldviews. Everyone has opinions. And when we find content that backs up our values and reinforces our worldview, it's only logical that we want to share that with other like-minded people. That's why politics used to be such a big thing. I feel like a lot of people are now getting out of this Republican-Democrat paradigm. But in the past, that's always been such a big debate and passionate. People are passionate about their belief systems. The fifth thing that could make it shareable is that it makes us stop and think. When content makes us stop dead in our tracks and ponder the big questions in life. We often want to share that with others. We want to share that with others so they can pause and look at the big picture once in a while too. We're all stuck in the daily grind, but we're only a very small speck in the overall scheme of things. And I think when you take that into consideration and you understand that there's something else bigger in play here, it really puts things in perspective and gives you the clarity you need to succeed. And if you can invoke that in other people, they'll share that feeling. The sixth thing is it isn't covered by mainstream media. Provocative or relevant news stories that slip through the cracks of mainstream media and wind up elsewhere online can draw a huge audience. WikiLeaks, great example of this. Alex Jones is a good example of this. Infowars.com. Drudge Report, great example of this. YouTube. Most people on YouTube are posting original content, things you can't get elsewhere. People are always hungry for the news, and we're losing trust in the mainstream media, so we're seeking alternatives to really get the facts. So if you have something that's a big news story that can easily get shared. 7, it makes someone smile. We all need regular reminders to look at the lighter side of life. So content that's fun, silly, or cute serves that simple purpose. If it makes you smile, you're going to want to share that feeling. 8, it's dramatic. Drama and good gossip are interesting. I don't fully understand it, but there's something with these Kardashians. And they are huge for really no reason, except that people like to gossip. So being dramatic or gossipy is interesting. That's virality. That can be shared. Find to create something dramatic, and you will see a great deal of sharing. Throw a celebrity in that mix and people are going to go crazy. Like, they will hunt you down crazy. 9, something that's embarrassing. It's the story of the proverbial train wreck. The Miss Teen pageant contestants that answer a question so stupidly that it just has to get shared with everyone. While something is difficult to watch, most people just can't look away. Content and brands that exploit people's most cringeworthy moments offer a guilty pleasure. Content and brands that exploit people's most cringeworthy moments is often a guilty pleasure. 10, it's provocative. Most of us can't resist adding a little spice to our lives with some content that's risque. We're talking about sex here, folks. Sex sells. That might not be your style. I'm not saying you have to do that, but there's a reason people like this Belle Knox porn star gets so much attention. Because she went to Duke and she was doing porn to pay for Duke. You might not think that's the route to go for you or your brand or your service, but it's made a lot of money for a lot of people, so that's definitely on this list. Those are really the 10 things, but at the end of the day, the core, the connection of all of them, if you can nail this one point, you will get it. You will be remarkable if you can create emotion, if you can make someone feel something. They'll talk about it. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Talk about what's going on in the business world, some recent events, and how to be remarkable to succeed. As part of Keller Williams Santa Monica, the largest brokerage in Los Angeles, the We Are Realty Group has a wealth of resources and expertise ready to assist with your next real estate move. With over $1 billion a year in transactions, we are fluent in the sale of real estate and the unique challenges of each property, consulting with your best interests at heart. That is why our bar is set to be your most trusted and chosen real estate broker. Ready to buy or sell your property in Los Angeles? Call me now at 310-363-0147. That's 310-363-0147. Find your next home at wearerealty.com. We're back to Real Business Talk. Today we're talking about how to be remarkable. Why being remarkable is crucial to success in your business and crucial to success in your life. So how can we excel at what we do? That's really the key, right? You can't be average. Average is not remarkable. You have to be the best at what you do. You have to create something that's unique, something that creates emotion, something that creates feeling, and that will be shared. A great quote: multitasking is merely the opportunity to screw up more than one thing at one time. That's by Steve Uzzell. So I'm going in a little bit to focus here, because to be remarkable, you really have to focus to control the outcome. People can actually do 2 or more things at once, like, walking and talking, or chewing gum, or reading a map, texting on your iPhone while you're driving. People can do it. I don't recommend it. But like computers, what we can't do is focus on 2 things at once. Really, our attention bounces back and forth at a rapid rate. That's what you call multitasking. You can't focus on both tasks or 4 tasks, but you can switch very quickly in between the tasks, so it feels like you're doing more, but really you're just cutting each one short. This worked out remarkably well during my tenure as a Michelin star cook. Being in the kitchen, multitasking is a huge asset. You're dealing with dozens of orders coming in. You have a huge time constraint on each one. Each one has to be timed perfectly, and each one has dozens of components and steps to produce that plate or that bowl or whatever it is and get it out onto the table. But as quickly as I learned in the world of business and building brands, that multitasking can be the killer of accomplishment. So to be remarkable, you have to control your focus to control your outcome. So how do you decide to be remarkable? Well, you need really 6 keys. The first is courage. You have to have courage. You have to stop making excuses. Just stop. Stop right now. No more excuses. No one wants to hear why you couldn't do something. So make a conscious decision to stop talking about it. Stop booking appointments, saying that you have to get your kids at this time. No, you need the time block, figure out what you're going to do, and then you need to get rid of our reptilian brain of fear. Our brain tells us, no, don't take a risk. Don't go out on that ledge. Don't go wandering off by yourself. Well, we've evolved past that, folks. That's the reptilian part of our brain. But the prefrontal cortex is the new part of the brain that we're trying to unlock. And that has courage. It lives there. It punches fear in the face, and it just goes after what you want. I experience this when I do cold calling or when I do door knocking. Huge fear. You start making up scenes in your head. Oh my God, what's going to happen if this? Or I know they're going to say this. Oh wow. He's going to answer the phone. He's just going to cuss at me and hang up. Or he's going to say I'm on the do not call list and then report me. And you come up with a million different excuses. But in reality, you don't know what's going to happen. You can't tell the future good enough to know if that outcome's going to be good or bad. Either way, it's going to be better than doing nothing. So you need courage. But with that courage, you need the second thing, which is responsibility. You have to take responsibility. This is the opposite of giving excuses. Take responsibility for your own success and take responsibility for the success of projects you work on. When something goes wrong, and it almost always does, you have to take responsibility for that too. The third thing you're going to need is the question. You got to start questioning the rules and expectations. Because if you don't, you're always going to do the same thing. You should always ask questions and pay close attention to the answers you hear back. Your value is in listening. And when you speak softly, people will listen more. So always ask questions and pay close attention to the answers you hear back. Some good starting questions are, why is this rule in place? Who benefits from this? What are the consequences if I don't follow this rule or this norm and meet these expectations? What is the worst thing that could happen if I don't do this? Look at what's going on in your industry, your niche, whatever you're trying to accomplish right now, personally or professionally. Look at what's in the box. See how you can conform that box, and then think outside of it. How you can stand outside of the crowd. Fourth thing you're going to need is passion. You got to find something that you're going to love, because passion is going to let you do it well. Depending on who you are, this requires up to 2 big changes in your life. First, you have to find work that you love. And second, you have to do it really well. Do it better than expected, and people will be amazed. And when you're passionate about it, it won't even feel like work, which will really drive you through the hard times. The 5th thing you're going to need is to be unique. You got to begin living your own life. You have no right to know what anyone else's opinion is of you. This is what it's all about, the life you were meant to live. If you don't know what that is yet, start looking for it. Just keep going. If I knew where I was 10 years ago was going to lead to here, I would have said I was crazy. You do not know what's going to happen. That's impossible to know. But you just have to drive towards your goal, towards whatever it is, and then put habits into place. Because once you have good habits in place, the goal doesn't matter. You're going to reach the goals as long as you follow the habits. Why would you want to live someone else's life anyway? So make your own path. Do your own thing. Just do it well. Do it consistently. Do it with passion. Do it uniquely. And then the 6th thing is you got to excel at whatever you do. You got to take it up a level. Take what's already working well and exponentially add to it. You got to grow your business 300%, 600%, 900%. You got to grow this thing as fast as you can. You have to sprint. Most successful people get up at 4 a.m. And they don't get up at 4 a.m. and then sit around for 3 hours. They get up at 4 a.m. and then run. They're sprinting. They're working out. And then they're running the whole freaking day because they know they do not have enough time. You have to play as if someone's working 24 hours a day to beat you. You have to apply for the position of CFO when you're the accounts payable clerk. You got to visit 5 countries instead of 1 on your next trip. You have to run faster than anyone else if you're in sports. You have to do everything the best that you can possibly do. You do that uniquely, you do that with passion, you question the normals, you do that with responsibility and courage, and I guarantee you, you will undoubtedly be remarkable. And we'll leave it at that. Join the discussion. Tell us what you're being remarkable about. Why are you remarkable? Make me remark about you. Go to realbusinesstalk.com and subscribe to this podcast and join the conversation now.